It's slow.
Huh? Yes, boss. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the special meeting September 1st, 2020 of the Owensboro Board of Commissioners. At this time, I'll ask City Clerk Beth Cecil to please call the roll.
Commissioner Jeff Sanford.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Conder.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Larry Magliner.
Here.
Commissioner Pam Smithwright.
Here. This time, we'll please stand for the invocation and the pledge by Commissioner Larry Conder.
Thank you, sir. Pray with me, please. Our Heavenly Father, we may not understand how everything will work out, but we trust you. We don't see a way, but we know you will make a way. We have faith that this very moment you are touching hearts, that you're opening doors, and finding opportunities for us to come together as your people. Tonight, as always, protect our first responders and those that really run toward danger when we run away. Our police officers, come home safe. Come home. Bless us tonight. Bless our commission, that we keep your words in mind all the time in all decisions that we make. We ask this in your name, and the commission says, amen. Now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on the agenda, item 4A. Please consider the approval of the minutes August 18th, 2020. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4B, consider board appointments. Owensboro Riverport Authority Board of Directors reappoint J.T. Fulkerson to a 4-year term effective September 10, 2020, and appoint Owensboro Health Board of Directors reappoint Gavin Roberts to a 3-year term effective November the 1st, 2020. Could I have a motion to approve these?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5A, Council.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Ordinance 14-2020, an ordinance revising the City of Owensboro Employee Handbook, Chapter 1000, Subchapter 1004, pay charts entitled Key Exempt Management and Professional Technical Exempt, thereby reclassifying the position of Property Maintenance Manager. Publicly read for approval on second reading this first day of September 2020.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
I will call on City Manager Nate Pagan, please.
Yes, Mayor, I gave a more thorough explanation at our last meeting, but just briefly, this moves the new property maintenance manager position on the pay chart to the same pay chart as the other managers within the Public Works Department.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Ms. Cecil, I believe this is a roll call.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Sanford.
Yes.
Commissioner Conder.
Yes.
Mayor Watson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Magliner.
Yes.
Commissioner Smithwright.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion approved. Item 6, ordinance first reading. There will be no vote. Council.
Ordinance 15-2020, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021, and amending Ordinance 7-2020 to revise beginning fund balances, carryover appropriations for all outstanding encumbrances, capital projects, and rebudget funds, introduced and publicly read on first reading this first day of September 2020.
Thank you. City Manager, would you like to discuss this? And please, everybody try and get close to the mic as you can, because our sound system not very good. People are complaining to me they can't hear us.
Yep. Thank you, Mayor. Good reminder. This is the first reading of our typical carryover budget amendment that we do early in each fiscal year. The amendments accounts for projects in progress that were not finished by the end of the previous fiscal year on June 30th. It also provides updated balances on the various funds based on the actual performance last year instead of the estimates used when we approved the current budget earlier this year. While the amendment is several pages long and involves dozens of items, there are just a few that are new and were not included in last year's budget. New items include the $25,000 for OCTC to help fund the match to the grant that they received as presented at the last commission meeting. New equipment and filters for the police department will be purchased using restricted funds, and then to account for 2 grants received. However, all of these items are in funds other than the general fund, so they have no impact on the general fund. Other than those handful of projects, this is the typical amendment of carryover items from our previous year, and staff is happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from the commission? Commissioner Conder.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could please, City Manager, the Capital Projects Fund, what is it, page 521, where it talks about expenditures, and one of the largest one is being the hotel incentive. If I remember correctly, this was, again, is a carryover of building our 3rd hotel and the affordable housing component, and that was done in April of last year. $920,000 has already been given as to incentivize for that, but do we have a status of when that might be started, or what is actually going on with that project? Because yes, it needs, especially the affordable housing component is needed, but what's going on with that, please?
I haven't asked that specifically of the developer in a while, but I'm happy to get an update and pass it along to the commission very soon.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Thank you. Council 6B, please.
Ordinance 16-2020, an ordinance annexing to the city of Owensboro certain unincorporated territory in the county of Davis adjoining the present boundary line of the city, being property owned by the city of Owensboro located at 3800 block of Fairview Drive, 3805 and 3810 Fairview Drive, and Fairview Drive right-of-way, containing 24.280 acres, more or less, introduced and publicly read on first reading this first day of September 2020.
Thank you. City Manager Nate Pagan.
Yes, this is first reading of an ordinance, an ordinance annexing just over 24 acres located at 3805 and 3810 Fairview Drive. This is the property that the city purchased for the Fairview Drive Extension Project, so we are the owner and have consented to this annexation.
I believe that's uncontested, right?
That is correct.
I guess it is. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but it is for me. Any other discussion? Thank you, sir. Council 6C, please.
Ordinance 17-2020, an ordinance revising Employee Handbook Policy 109, thereby including entry-level police officer candidates that are eligible to participate in an alternate education program to obtain an associate's degree to be considered for employment. Introduced and publicly read on first reading this first day of September 2020.
City Manager Nate Pagan.
Yes, you might recall that back in February, we changed our requirements for police officer recruits. We had previously required an associate's degree or equivalent prior to being hired, but amended the requirement to allow recruits to obtain an associate's or equivalent after their hire date, but during their training period, taking advantage of a program the state offered called Educating Heroes. Unfortunately, the state stopped offering that program. At our last meeting, the commission approved an agreement with OCTC to provide a very similar program called Project Badge. When we amended this policy back in February, we specifically referenced the Educating Heroes program. This amendment just adds language or alternate program to accommodate Project Badge or similar programs that might occur in the future.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we'll move on to item 6D, please, Council.
Ordinance 18-2020, an ordinance levying ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021 at the rate of 26.40 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of real property, 27.87 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of personal property, and 30.30 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of vehicles. and providing for the collection and apportionment of same, introduced and publicly read on first reading this first day of September 2020.
City Manager Nate Pagan.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is the first reading of our ordinance to set our property tax rates for the year. As the city attorney read, it sets 3 distinct property rates. The largest by far in terms of revenue, and the most well-known is the tax on real property or real estate. We propose to decrease the real estate rate from last year with a rate of 26.4 cents per $100 evaluation, decreased from a rate of 26.6 cents for 2019. With this proposed rate, a property assessed at $100,000 would pay $264 in property tax to the city. As far as the other categories, we propose no change to the vehicle rate, which would remain at 30.3 cents per $100. On personal property, we propose a rate of 27.87 cents per $100. The personal property rate is calculated automatically based on the real property rate. So again, the real property rate is the most prominent or primary rate and the source of the far majority of the property tax revenue, and we're pleased to propose a decrease tonight for your consideration.
Okay, can you dumb that down for us average citizens?
Be happy to. We have 3 rates: rates for your house or your property, rate for your vehicle, and a rate for pretty much everything else. The primary rate is on real estate or your house or whatever property you own in the city, and so that generates about 82% of all the property tax. So that is by far the most prominent, and so when people talk about property tax, they're generally talking about the real estate tax. Our rate in 2019 was 26.6 cents, and so we are happy to propose a reduction to 26.4 cents for 2020.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay. Item 7, Council Municipal Order 7A, please.
Municipal Order 27-2020, a municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of agreement with the Davis County Fiscal Court setting out the terms by which the county will implement a public safety grade P25 trunked radio system using the city's Astro 25 core, and further providing that the county agrees to pay any incremental and maintenance expenses that may arise through usage of such core, introduced and publicly read for approval this first day of September 2020.
Thank you, Council. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second?
City Manager, would you like to discuss this?
Yes, just briefly.
Okay.
The county is in the process of moving from an analog to a digital radio system. The county's new system will use the core of the city's radio system, so the two systems between the city and the county will integrate appropriately and best ensure communication between city and county agencies. There should be no impact on the functionality or performance of the city system, and their use of the core will not cause our costs to increase. This municipal order approves a simple agreement with the county, allowing them to use our core, and stipulates that should our cost increase because of their use, they will be responsible for the additional cost.
Perfect. Any other questions? Anybody else?
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes, go ahead, Larry. Commissioner Condon. Sorry.
What's a core? I'm just curious. I don't know what it. Oh, okay, the main, the frame then, right? The main frame? Or the server?
Pretty much. I don't know technically, do you know what the core is or not really? So I'll get an answer from Paul
I'm just
May
curious. I didn't.
and email the commission with a better explanation. I just know it's the core.
Okay. The main frame, I would guess, but anyway, okay. Sorry.
Oh, you have, sir?
Yes, sir?
Okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8, city manager items.
Yes, Mayor, if you would acknowledge Angela Waninger for the year-end and June financial report.
Ms. Waniger, would you please be recognized?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Yes, Mayor and Commission, my PowerPoint presentation on the screen.
Tell everybody I did it right. Huh? So Angela, what have you been doing all week?
Preparing for this meeting.
Oh, really? All week?
A week.
We're going to go out of order and move on to another
I
one?
was going to suggest possibly we just do the personnel appointments while she,
I could still read.
I think they want to see the charts, but, I mean, if it's okay with you, Mayor, we could move on to the personnel appointments and circle back when the technology is ready.
I don't know, but she made me look awful bad over here. I had one button to push. Okay, item 8B, consider personnel appointments.
Thank you. Today we have the following appointments for your consideration. Derek Jesse, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointment to road worker with the street department, effective September 14th. Gabor Moores, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointment to bus driver with transit, effective September 14th. Sean Murphy, probationary full-time, non-civil service promotional appointment to crew leader with sanitation, effective September 13th. Christopher York, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to fire driver engineer with the fire department, effective September 1st. William Seth Abel, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to crew leader with the street department, effective September 2nd. Mark Pierre, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to maintenance equipment operator with the street department, effective September 2nd. Jesse Reinerson, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to refuse truck driver with sanitation, effective September 3rd. And Kevin Schrecker, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to public works driver sanitation with sanitation department, effective September 3rd.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve these appointments. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Good job, Josh. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is city manager comments.
Back to Ms. Waninger, please, Mayor.
I would love to recognize Ms. Waniger again.
We can try this again.
Do I need to hit laptop again? Oh, okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Okay,
Mayor, I have no other comments for 8C, so we could probably go ahead and do item 9 if you're so inclined.
I'm so inclined. Communication from elected officials. Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Just wanted to congratulate the Mayor and all those who had anything to do with the Gold Star Family Monument. It's a beautiful addition to our riverfront and to our city. Being a veterans girl, that it really touched my heart. That's a beautiful monument. And then also, I went to the Louise Gasser Kirkley Monument unveiling, and it was just as nice. My heart's with that veterans thing, though. And I just want to remind everybody about 9/11, our Freedom Walk this year. We're not going to walk. We're just going to meet at the Shelton Memorial on September the 11th at 11 o'clock. And Chief, would you please tell any of your police officers that we'd love to have them to attend. We're not, like I said, we're not going to do the walk. We're just going to all meet there because of this COVID thing. And also on September the 24th at 2 o'clock, 4th Street Baptist Church will be receiving a Kentucky historical marker. That's my church. It's we will be 190 years old. It's the oldest African American church in.
Is that where you were baptized? Is that what you
Yes.
said? That's what I thought.
Yeah, I was there.
190 years ago.
I look good, don't I?
You look good.
Like, don't crack. Did I do that? You know, everyone's welcome to come. Please wear your mask. We will be self-distancing. If the weather is inclement, we will be in the sanctuary where we'll be self-distancing there also, but if it's beautiful, we will have it on the outside in the church grove on the side of the church. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we continue with this, or do we catch up with our esteemed accountant? Well, I think we should give Ms. Waniger the floor, since she's been waiting patiently because we couldn't get the graphs up, so we'll catch back up. Okay, Ms. Waniger, please.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Commissioner.
You're welcome.
My PowerPoint presentation will be on the general fund activity for the month of and 12 months ended June. You may refer to page 3 of the financial packet for more detail. Please note that this report reflects unaudited year-end activity. Okay, for our first slide, for the month of June 2020, actual revenues of $5,099,356 were higher than budgeted revenues of $3,115,831 for positive variance of $1,983,525. This variance is primarily due to higher net profit license fees, which is due to businesses taking advantage of the extended filing deadline, and partially due to various items in the other categories such as interest income, additional dividends, and unbudgeted reimbursable grant funds. And just to expand on the net profits, typically they would be paid in April, and so we had the extension to July 15. So we are in the month of September, so we had the privilege of recognizing those extended returns back into the proper year. So
That
that's why
makes you smile, doesn't it?
that makes me smile.
There you
Yes,
go.
it does. Yes. And there's also those taxpayers who then chose to extend, so we won't get their returns till October. So this is not everything to be seen for this fiscal year. So the next slide. This is for the 12 months into June 2020. Our actual revenues of $60,081,197 exceeded budgeted revenues of $57,682,778 for positive variance of $2,398,420. This variance is primarily due to our higher occupational payroll withholding and our net profit license fees. Our next slide is for the month of June 2020 for expenditures. The actuals are $8,503,941. They're less than budgeted expenditures of $8,541,586 for a variance of $37,645. This is primarily due to savings in personnel services and lower transfers to other funds, offset by higher maintenance. Our next slide is for the 12 months ended June 2020. Actual expenditures of $58,149,571 were less than budgeted expenditures of $61,559,837 for a variance of $3,410,266. This variance is primarily due to savings in personnel services, which is due to vacancies, savings in debt service due to refinancing, and savings in various other areas due to efficiencies that we have recognized here at the city. As well as due to timing, we got timing issues in various areas such as street work, supplies, and outside services, as was reflected in tonight's budget amendment. Those items got carried over. The city's monthly revenues and expenses are cyclical. As you can see on the chart, expenses exceed revenues in the warmer months when streets and grounds, maintenance, and parks are in full swing. Likewise, there are months that have higher revenues, such as October and November, which is due to the collection of real and personal property taxes. Tonight, we have a couple of additional good news slides to share with you tonight. This slide reflects wage growth in our city. This slide represents activity in the general fund. In fiscal year 2016-17, the occupational payroll withholdings reflected in the general fund reflect a wage base of $1,217,493,000.
Would you run that by me one more time?
I can, Mayor.
Wow.
That's
That's
16-17.
very impressive.
Yes, it is. It gets better. That
Awesome.
wage growth grows to the fiscal year 1920 to $1,341,729,000. This represents an annual average growth of 3%.
Wow. Somebody doing something right here in this community,
Yeah.
right? We got great people in this community.
Yes, we do, Mayor. Our next slide is our total occupational. This slide represents wage-based activity for total occupational withholdings. That represents activity in the general fund, your community vision fund, and our economic development fund. Of the total 1.78% collected on wages, 1.45% goes to the general fund. 0.33% goes to the Your Community Vision Fund, and a portion of this goes to the Economic Development Fund from Air Park businesses and for incentives. Fiscal year 2016-17 reflects a wage base of $1.4 billion. Fiscal year 2019-20 represents a wage base of $1.5 billion. That represents growth of $115 million. Wages are one of the best indicators of an economy. Owensboro is doing well.
Yeah.
That concludes my presentation.
Well, let's just do it again. I mean, that was so nice. Well,
Dan.
I don't know what to say about that. I guess I need to make a motion to approve this fantastic audit.
So moved.
Yeah.
Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Anybody want to vote against that?
Try and see what happens.
Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Owensboro. Motion carries. Okay, now we'll pick up from communication from elected officials. Mayor Pro Tem,
Thank you,
Larry
Mayor.
Maglinger.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I agree, the two events we had last week were great events. The Gold Star Monument was beautiful. The life history of Louise Kirtley was incredible. So that was very good. Also, I this week drove out to the Jack C. Fisher Park to look at these new fields, and gosh, they're great. They look good. I guess they're ready to start playing ball on. So anyway, we should be proud of that, and I hope everybody continues to be safe.
Thank you, Pro Tem. Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Mayor. After hearing that the end of the year financial report from Angela, you really need to make sure that everybody at staff here and those individuals that are in the field, police, fire, first responders, the people picking up your trash, everyone, we thank you from our hearts for all the hard work you've done over the last year and all you will do. It is evident that everything that was difficult over the last 4 years ago, or at least about 3 years ago, is just continuing to happen in Owensboro, and it should make us all proud of how hard and how good these numbers truly are, growing the tax base without increasing tax rates. So thank you all. I mean it a lot. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Sanford. I want to see you, little piggyback action.
I don't know about that.
Anyway, those numbers are outstanding, and I think it goes back a long.
Your face is going to break in a minute, Angela. It's that grin. I love it.
I mean, really, that's outstanding.
It is.
A lot of elected officials that have been here and who are not here now, and staffs, people that have been here, and you guys presently. I think a lot of people have put a lot of hard work in, and I think the city's, we're in a great position. I think we're very lucky to be where we're at in this city. We don't need to take it for granted. So I'm very proud of the work y'all have done with the staff we have now. Number two, I'd like to mention one more time, talking about downtown and noise and traffic again. Down there again, and with some people, and I noticed a lot of kids. This was on Frederica Street on a Thursday night, and I'm afraid a kid's going to hurt somebody and it's going to ruin their life or something, because they're actually racing and there's a lot of noise. And I'd like to see if we can do something about that. I know we've had some studies, but I'm afraid somebody's going to get hurt or something. We can look into that. I would appreciate it.
Yes, I know we've done some analysis, but it's been focused on Second Street, so we can look at the Frederick Street side.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is a wider street, so it's more conducive to
It was just kind of...
speeding or racing or something of that
It was
nature.
just kind of dangerous, and it was loud, and, you know, you got families down there, and I would hate to see something happen to somebody. And lastly, the Gold Star monument is, I'd like to thank everybody who put that on, everybody who attended, and the sponsors who made that happen. That's a pretty special thing, and I'd like to give my thanks to all those people that put in the hard work. And that's it.
Thank you. Pam, they should have seen us in the 60s, shouldn't they, Mag?
Yeah.
Driving those 396 Chevys down through there, hitting all the daggone gears. Jeff, you'd have had a heart attack.
And everybody would go, yeah.
Yeah. Had a 442 Oldsmobile. I would like, if you all wouldn't mind, I'd like to just recognize all the sponsors that helped with the monument. I know we kind of ran through them the other day at the thing, but this truly was a public-private partnership, and if you'll allow me a few minutes just to give them a thank you for making that monument what it is. First and foremost, the committee was Leland Hancock and Sergeant Mullins, Kathy Mullins, and Adrian and myself, and we had a lot of help from Woody's foundation people because they've been through it a lot, and but Adrian kind of kept us she kept us on the straight and narrow, and I promise you, I think she probably looked at 5,000 pictures of former monuments to try and get just exactly what we wanted on the backside of that thing. And in fact, I asked Woody, I said, "What, can we turn the monument around so that you can see the other side first?" And he said, "No." So, but it was a labor of love. So I'd like to just go through these community donors. And I may have a little story with it, one or two of them. Atmos Energy, of course, Mark Martin, Kay Coombs, and of course, you know, Atmos Energy is run by a bunch of Owensboro people down in Dallas with Kevin Akers and John Ferris and John Parrott and all those guys. So they've been great. Petty Monuments, this is their 71st monument that they put together. And I made them say that ours was the best, but you know how it goes. Matt Castlin Steel, he gave us the rebar to go into the concrete. City of Owensboro, I want to thank Nate Pagan. He did not make me beg. He, you know, sometimes he's a little hard to get, but he said, we can make it work. I was on an airplane going to D.C. with Al, and I told him about it. He said, count me in. So that was really easy. The Downtown Owensboro Incorporated component of this was just money that was sitting on in an account over at the Economic Development Corporation, and basically city money, most of it. And Brittany Johnson brought it up to the board what to do with it, and I jumped in and Al jumped in, and the board agreed that that would be the best way to spend that dollar. Gary's Florida Lou, all the beautiful flowers. Gary did a wonderful job there. And if you can't thank Glenn Funeral Home for those fans, as hot as it was that day, but they did a great, they were, Glenn and Glenn Payton. Independence Bank with Jacob Reed. I said, you want to play? He says, I want to play. And I was having lunch with the CEO of Owensboro Grain, and she said, how close are you getting? I threw a number out. By the time we got finished having lunch, and I went back to my other job and then came here, there was a check on my desk for $5,000. So, I mean, that's just what was so fun about this thing. Owensboro Rotary Club computed, Owensboro Warehouse Leasing. I was speaking to somebody else to try and get the rest of the money for the concrete. The person I was asking said, you know, I don't know. And Owensboro Leasing, Antonis just leaned in and said, I got it. The Davis County Veterans Association for one of the markers. Public Life Foundation, they were one of the first ones. As soon as it hit the paper, David Boyd sent us money. Southern Star Central Gas Pipeline, Jimmy Stetton and his folks. And I guess without Stair Crane, they didn't even blink. I got to thank Bigfoot for getting all that exterior stuff done. And of course, my wife Barbara says, you can't do this thing without us kicking in. So it was just, I'm just so proud of Woody. And if you ever listen to his story about being 5'6" and 130 pounds and being denied by the Marine Corps twice, he finally got in and landed on Iwo Jima, and they're pinned down on the beach. And there's the story grows a little bit, but at least 3 pillboxes had them pinned down. And in the hole in the pillbox, we call that the slaughter hole, and they're just murdering the soldiers. And Woody was 5'6", 130 pounds. Picked up a flamethrower, walked up the left side, took out that pillbox. There's 8 inches of sand on Iwo Jima, so you just buried. And with a flamethrower on your back, you're a pretty big target for those people that are trying to keep from getting hurt by the flamethrower. He goes back to the beach, picks up another flamethrower, goes back up the center, took out the second pillbox, went back to the beach, picked up another flamethrower. Now, they weigh 70 pounds. He weighs 130. He goes up the other side and took out that pillbox, which freed a whole battalion that was just pinned down in the beach. And all he can say is that he's basically doing all this because of the ones that didn't make it home. And at 96 years old, he probably had more energy. At 96 degrees out there and 105 heat index, I'm sweating so much that the puddles are all around my feet, and breath comes up. You got to get some water, man. You're creating it. And he's cool as the other side of the pillow. He gets right up and speaks, and his blessing for the Gold Star parents was phenomenal. And then having a chance to actually pin some of the Gold Star family members that had never gotten their pin from their lost loved one was really special. And we had Senator McConnell and Congressman Guthrie obviously were here. He's a West Point grad and a Yale MBA, so he would be involved. So I'm just so proud of this community that made that happen. And Woody said it might be the best one he's ever seen. Of course, they put in 71. I bet he told everybody that on the way out of town, but he said this is really special, but the next one we do in West Virginia is going to be bigger and better. So I do want to thank the city, Leland's people. We always get on the last minute deal and pavers and concrete, and he just kept them on task, and it was just a great community effort by all involved. And only thing we like now is I've had 714 emails said, can we have some light on that thing at night? So I'm just throwing that out there. It needs a little something on it to shine at night a little bit, because that Gold Star is so important. And I really want to thank the VFW. They had a really nice reception for people, and Woody was there taking pictures, and Woody is 96, and I get an email from him the next day. He says, Mayor, thanks for everything, and he says, and by the way, there's a piece of legislation in the United States Senate, Senate Bill 2396. I wish you could help me with that. and so I sent that up the channel, and it's actually, he's working to get all the veteran cemeteries an opportunity to have an enclosure to honor the dead when they come and are buried at that. So he just never stops. He's an amazing human being. So thanks again to the city, all our investors. I apologize for taking more time than I should have, but this community did the right thing, and I'm very proud of them, and thank you very much. So at this time, we'll go into closed session under one of these article, Commissioner, no.
No. While you're looking that up, if I could just mention one thing that the city attorney reminded me of that I think is worth mentioning. With the recent passing of former city attorney David Fowler, who served his community for many years, just pass along our prayers and condolences to his family.
Exactly right. I did that today, and Sue was just a real champ. I mean, she was an angel on earth, and now David's with the angels above. And yeah, I was here when David was here, so and he was actually Bobby Whitmer's roommate at Center, so you don't think that wasn't tough. So yeah, it was time, and now he's. I always like to say that heaven's got holes in the floor so that they can watch over us when they're up there, and David will be doing that because he was a good soldier too. Thank you, Steve, for reminding me of that. I got so wrapped up in. Okay, at this time, I'd like to consider a closed session under KRS 61.8101G to discuss a specific proposal with representatives of the business entity. I will make a motion to enter into closed session. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries, and there will be no action taken.